it's Kate from Push, and in the series of how to work more brilliantly and more productively when you're working remotely, this is session number 2, which we really hope will help people who are working remotely, working from home during everything that's happening with the coronavirus. Let's kick off. The first one was about obviously setting boundaries, and now we are moving on to planning and batching your tasks, which is super important because we know that when working remotely so easily, our time can start expanding into our personal time, and it's incredibly important that we get really good and really rigorous about what we're doing when we're working, so we can be as productive as possible. So in the 5-point plan, point 1 is to start off with the right mindset. And what I mean by that is to get yourself more energized and as productive as possible as you go into the planning for the day. And one thing that we talk a lot about with that is that we say to people to start writing their list from the day before of things that they're really proud of. And the beauty of that, it really energizes you up rather than thinking about things in a negative way. So you start building up your neural pathways and basically thinking about things in a much more positive way rather than a negative way. So think about stuff from the day before, 3 things that you're super proud of, and 1 thing that you're really excited about coming up that day. So you're getting into that right mindset and really being on the front foot. So that was point 1. Point 2 is to write your list and to stick to it rigorously. Now, what I mean by that is, the problem that we have is that we can flick around between different stuff, and actually we're just draining our mental energy. So if we write that list, and in particular, if we write it from the night before, it means that we're taking our stuff out of our brain and we're putting it down on paper, which means that we can get a really good night's sleep and then get really clear on exactly what it is that we've got to do the following day and when we're going to do it by. The next thing, point 3, is batching. And we really like batching because what it does is, again, it means what you're not doing is draining your mental energy, kind of flicking your brain around like a pinball, going between different tasks and different types of tasks, which truly drains lots and lots of mental energy. And actually what we say, if you've got blogs to write, if you've got emails to write, if you put those together, if you've got to make phone calls, put all of those together, if you've got to write a presentation, do that in one chunk, and then maybe some more creative thinking. You're just not flicking that type of thinking, and it means that you can focus well on one thing at a time. The next thing is point 4, and that is to always put aside a slot for stuff that pops up. And the beauty of that is that stuff always will, and when it comes in, you feel that real panic of having to deal with it there and then. If you know that you've got time set aside for stuff that pops up, it means that you can just immediately put it to one side and know that you're going to deal with it then. So again, it's not draining your energy and draining your productivity as you flick between different things. And finally, one thing that we always talk about, and so few people actually do, is actually take time to reflect on stuff, reflect on things that have gone well, feel good about that, or reflect on things that maybe haven't quite worked out as maybe you'd wanted them to, and what can you learn from them. Reflection is one of the most important things for helping move us forward, and we rarely take time for that. So if you want to be working at your best, make sure you're building reflection in. That was our 5 points about planning and batching. I really hope they help. As ever, get in touch if you've got any questions.